Good afternoon. My name is Johanna Motteram and I work in the Assessment Solutions team at the British Council. My job includes working with governments and institutions to help them plan, deliver and monitor language education solutions. In the last couple of years, my team and I have worked on projects for government clients in Singapore, Bangladesh, the UK, Croatia, Saudi Arabia and Taiwan. Today, I'll talk about the model we use to help us plan language education solutions and how I think it could be used when planning a solution for civil servants in Taiwan. The problem, it seems to me, is that we've been told we need improvement in the English language proficiency of civil servants in Taiwan, but we don't know where we're starting from, so we don't know the English language level of, civil servants in Taiwan. We don't know what the goal is, so we don't know where the improvement needs to take the civil servants to. But we also don't know how to make it happen. So to start with, I'll introduce a model that we use regularly in our solutions to help us think about what are the elements that need to be considered when we're devising a solution and how they interact together. Then I'll give you an illustration of how we could use it in Taiwan. Now, the first three elements of a solution are the curriculum, which is a document which lists the learning goals of a solution. Basically, what do we think the learners need to be able to do with language? Then we have delivery, which is decisions about how the teachers and material writers and so on will make sure that the learning goals are achieved. And finally here, equally importantly, we have assessment, which we use to answer questions about the solution. Have the learning goals been achieved? What else needs to be learned? There's a fourth element to this system which is really, really important. It's the standards. Now, the standards are the core of a comprehensive learning system. They provide a common reference for the teachers, the assessment writers, the curriculum and materials writers, which connect what is being learnt, how it's being taught, how it's evaluated. They're a tool to assist the planning of curricula, courses and exams by working backwards from what the users and learners need to be able to do in the language and defines them at levels. So where do these standards come from? Now, one approach is to use a ready-made standard, such as the CEFR, which is a very popular set of standards used around the world for language learners. Another is to adopt existing standards to make them more appropriate for a particular context or for a specific purpose. So when thinking about civil servants in Taiwan, one way of working out what the standards should be is to do some small pieces of research. First question, where are the learners and what do they need to do with English? There's two pieces of work there. There's a baseline assessment where we would invite samples of civil servants at different levels to take an assessment, which would then give us information. The results would then give us information about the whole population of civil servants. To answer the question, what do we need to do, where we is maybe the instructors, but definitely the civil servants, is a job analysis. So we do some small scale research to understand what do people need to do with English in their jobs. Once we have the baseline information and the job analysis information, we can combine that and use it to inform our standards. The standards will help us set goals for the teachers and for the learners, and write individualised learning plans. So, once learners have clear goals, which are linked to explicit standards, they can work with teachers on targeted training. Now, there will be plenty of presentations coming up today about what might be included in this targeted training as this event unfolds. Basically, targeted training means that the civil servants' language learning lessons, materials, online experience, and so on are directly related to moving them from where they are to where they want to be. And this means that they are motivated. Now, we have motivated learners. We use ongoing assessment, which is linked back to those standards, directly linked to what's happening in lessons. And we monitor the success of the program, but we also identify gaps so that we can review and revise the program as we move along. So how does this work, particularly in this context? Now, I've taken this image from information shared in a recent presentation about current approaches to providing English training for civil servants in Taiwan. We can see that there has been some work done to describe what people in different jobs need to do with English, but there's no detail about what kind of conversations they have on the telephone, for example, or what kind of official writing they need to do, or how well they need to deliver presentations, or how well they're doing these things at the moment, which is why the baseline and the job analysis is necessary. So, as a starting point, I'm going to talk about the junior to senior rank promotion learners in the blue box. So, a baseline study, as I mentioned before, invitations to a representative sample, maybe 10%, so 150 of the junior to senior rank promotion civil servants to complete an English language assessment. Now, we choose the assessment to make sure it includes the kinds of tasks they do in the workplace: listening to people on the telephone, giving a presentation, writing a formal letter. Then the results would give us some idea of the level of the whole population. So this information will be helpful for future reference, so that we would have evidence about how well the whole solution is working. Now, alongside this baseline study, we'd also do some job analysis. This could involve observing people at work to find out how they use English, looking at documents like emails and reports that they need to read and that they have produced. Maybe interviewing a group of civil servants at this level about their English language use at work, and then compiling all of that information alongside existing frameworks of English proficiency to see what overlap there is and what is specific for this population. We might also invite some civil servants who are known to be good and really good at particular English language workplace tasks to do the assessment we used for baselining. And then we could use their scores and examples of their performance in their job to think about where we can put critical levels for different roles in the standards. So we'd be able to define, what is a good performance for a junior to senior rank promotion civil servant on a presentation, on the telephone, on official writing, and that really helps with setting goals. So, once we have standards, as I said, setting goals and individualised learning plans become much, much easier. We know what the level required is for different roles. We can find out where new hires or newly promoted people are. We can plan progression because this is helpful not only for this role now, but thinking about the next role. Once we have individualised learning plans, learners know what they're doing and why they're doing it in language classes, and teachers can plan the learning to suit the learner's goals. So when we have a comprehensive learning system, which is built around standards which are appropriate to the specific context of language use, so standards which have been adapted specifically for civil servants in Taiwan. Once we have those standards, our learners know what they need to learn because it is clearly stated in the standards, and the curriculum is aligned to those standards. Our teachers know what they need to teach because it's clearly stated in the standards, in the curriculum, and their delivery is aligned. Their lesson plans are aligned to those standards. And we can also use assessment, which is linked to the standards, to make sure our investment is working. So then we can see motivated learners who are able to achieve their goals and hopefully achieve the promotions and future career success that they desire. Thank you.